guys, Gary here. So today, let's talk about science. So I got some friends that are scientists, a couple of them, and they're pretty cool dudes. And for the most part, I ask them my questions when it comes to science shit because they're professional scientists. And I absolutely love science. However, depending on where you follow my commentary on the interwebs, you may think, oh, well, Gary is some type of science skeptical. And I would say, isn't that what a scientist is too? Skeptical? I think the status quo says the earth is flat and the sun revolves around it, but they were skeptical and questioned it all. So when it comes to science proving things and getting rid of or overpowering superstition, like, I'm all for that shit. The problem with science is there's people involved. So folks will get on this thing about, well, science is irrefutable. I'm like, okay, so we took out the human equation. Well, no, like, somebody gathered all the information and or set the parameters for the test and observed it and that kind of thing, and they aren't trustworthy. Why aren't they trustworthy? Because they're people. They're people. I don't know. So all people are self-serving. Yeah, that's you too that's watching this. You serve you. So when you put a person in charge of scientific discovery, they have all the incentive in the world to discover what benefits them. Now, will some of them put that aside? Oh, I'm sure. Which ones are they? I don't know. If you tell me that that's what all scientists do, you're lying. So, now that we've established that people are the problem with science, but not the science itself, let's talk about how we can apply science to our everyday prepared self. So in that aspect, I'm talking about things that we would do to defend ourselves, our families, our communities from those who are out to do us harm. Let's use science to make ourselves better at that, to give ourselves an advantage over the bad guys. And unfortunately, just like science and everywhere else, there are people who make products for us to use that are also self-serving. And they make products and then market those products to do a certain function, and might be experts in marketing, but they don't know shit about science because their shit doesn't work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of those products that I am skeptical about, and then I am going to apply some science to them. And then we'll see if, once we apply some science, how they measure up. All right, first on the list, what do we have here? Donated by my friend Elliot at Pharaoh's Lead Farm. We have what is this? A Canic magazine. So check it out. Those dudes that made the Canic, pretty smart fellas. Like, they had engineers and shit, like, design the gun. And if I recall correctly, it was going to use Beretta magazines when it first came out. Not the greatest magazines in the world, but not bad. So at the last minute or some future iteration, they changed that and went with the proprietary magazine. Well, they certainly didn't have an engineer design this, and there was no science applied for what they wanted the magazine to do, because it is so fucking shitty that even the pollen in the air today has caused it to stop working. Literally, microbes will jam this magazine up so that it stops feeding ammunition. You've got the best $300 gun on the market with the worst fucking magazine known to man. It's almost like HexMag made these things. That's it. We're going to apply some science to it and see if it makes it any better. All right, so I applied some science to the Canic magazine, and as it turns out, it was so shitty that even science couldn't make it work. I guess the good news is it doesn't work any worse than it did when it came from the factory. the science hammer, available from Aklys Defense. Bunch of great dudes down there. This particular science hammer is a short-handled science hammer. I had to fill out a Form 4 to get this. But it belongs to Joey over at Pinnacle Paracord Creations. You should check him out at the link below. You can also see the Aklys link down there. And you're also going to see some links for all the products that we apply the science to.